and I'm Jim Longworth, and welcome to another edition of Forsyth County Connections, coming to you from the studios of Cable 2, and we appreciate their hospitality. I want to start out on the half hour here talking about dental care and oral care, and you say to yourself, well, Jim, you ought to have a dentist to help you with that. So we just happen to have one wander into the studio just now. Dr. Kathleen Stanton, she said I can call her Kate, Dentist Director for Forsyth County Department of Public Health. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
Good to see you. Why is oral health an important part of the services that Forsyth County Department of Public Health provides? Why is it so important within that department?
Well, we have a lot of programs at Forsyth County Department of Public Health that address the health needs of our community. We have diabetes prevention programs. We have programs targeted at expectant mothers and helping them with healthy birth and delivery. And your oral health is really connected to your body's health. We know that your oral care and your oral disease status is connected to your risk for cardiovascular disease,
right.
Or it can even be connected to a low weight or preterm birth.
Gosh.
And if you're a diabetic especially, it's very important.
Well, now, who all do your programs serve?
So the short answer is we serve everybody. We see kids from age birth to elderly people, and we serve.
Why are you looking at me when you said elderly people?
Don't take it personally.
All right.
We're not, none of us aging in reverse. That's the truth.
Right.
So we like to see kids at least by age 1 or when they have their first tooth. But we have a wide variety of insurance that we accept, and we have a sliding fee scale for self-pay patients, basically so that anybody who needs our services.
Well, now speaking of services, what kind of services do you offer?
So we do general dentistry, which includes preventive care, cleanings, fluoride treatments for kids and sealants, and we also do fillings, extractions, limited root canal treatment, and dentures. So the full range. If we feel like you need a specialist care, we'll give you a referral to a specialist, but we generally do all kinds of dentistry. We also have a preventive dental health program that goes out into the community, and it screens kids in schools and provides educational opportunities. And so we have 2 excellent hygienists, Deborah Massenberg and Mashika Jefferson Tobias, who are available to help members in our community learn about their oral health.
Well, it just sounds great, but Doc, let me ask you this. Is there a charge for dental services if somebody comes into the department and needs help? We
do. We have a fee scale. We accept Medicaid, and we're one of a few number of clinics in our area who accepts Medicaid for adult patients. So we see a lot of patients who are adults on Medicaid. We accept children's Medicaid, of course, but like I said, if you don't have health insurance, we have a fee scale that is fairly reasonably priced, and you may fall on that scale and qualify for a discount.
Now, what advice can you give to parents for them to improve the oral health of their children?
Well, the number one thing I would say is reduce juice. That's how I sum it up, reduce juice. And I'm not just talking about fruit juice, I'm talking about really any sweetened beverage. So a pediatrician may give you different guidelines from this if your child's case is different, but no kid under the age of 1 should have any juice. Up to the age of 3, you shouldn't have no more than 4 ounces of juice a day. And even when you get up to age 7 and on till the age of 18, you shouldn't be having more than 8 ounces of juice a day.
Yeah, a lot of sugar in that.
There is. And it has its place, but a whole fruit or vegetable is better for your kid anyway.
Now, there's a lot of this work done at the, you sent me an email one day about the Cleveland Avenue Dental Center and the preventive dental health program that you're offering. Is most of the work done there? It
is. We have some limited programs where we go out into schools and we do sealants program, and our sealants program is an opt-in program. So you'll get, if we're at your kid's school, you'll get a form that tells you what we're there to do, and you'll get to say, do you want your kid to have sealants or don't you? And that's a non-invasive procedure.
Now, I think you also sent a number, and correct me if I'm wrong, 336 area code 703-3090.
That's for our main line. And of course, if you reach out to us and you need to get in touch with our preventive dental health program, we can connect you with them. But that's a good place to start. Also, if you just go to the county website and look up the Department of Public Health, there's a lot of great information there.
Dr. Kate, I appreciate it. Appreciate everything you're doing. Thanks a lot.
Well, thank you for having me. This has been fun.
All right. We'll be right back after this.
Help emergency responders help you when you can't help yourself. Forsyth Cares, the Community Assistance Registry for Emergency Services, allows you to register yourself or someone in your household sharing health conditions or information that might aid in your care should your home be the subject of a 911 call.
911, what's your emergency?
Operators will seek critical information, medications, conditions, or in the case of a wandering child or an adult with cognitive disabilities, places they like to go, or even if they have access to a vehicle. The information is stored in a database only accessible to first responders and 911 agents. Get more information at forsyth.cc/Forsyth Cares. In the moment that your life depends on a fast response, get information to first responders that can aid in your or your loved one's care. That's forsyth.cc/Forsyth Cares.
Back now on Forsyth County Connections. So glad to welcome this very special guest. With us right now, Wes Hutchens. He's manager of Interagency Radio System for Winston-Salem, Forsyth County Interagency Communications. That is a mouthful and a long title. I appreciate you being here.
I appreciate you having me.
Why don't we start from the obvious and just explain to folks and to me, the Department of Interagency Communications. What's that all about?
So we're a small department. We've got 2 full-time and 1 part-time. And we were born out of an agreement that was made between the city and county back in 2002.
Okay.
At that time, there were a lot of agencies using different types of radio systems that wouldn't communicate with each other. And so a common platform was needed.
Even within their own department,
Correct.
Sometimes they weren't able to communicate.
That's right.
Gosh.
So it was a challenge. And so Interagency Communications was born out of that agreement from the standpoint of managing the new platform that was brought in, which is the 800 megahertz system that we use today.
Now, when you say 800 megahertz, let's help folks understand which departments would use that most or benefit from it most. I mean, give me an idea of what's going on with that.
So generally speaking, it's city and county public safety. So you have Winston-Salem Police, Winston-Salem Fire, Forsyth County Sheriff, Forsyth County EMS, Forsyth County Fire Departments all throughout the county, emergency management. Those are the public safety players. And then we have a lot of non-public safety that use it as well, such as utilities and streets and sanitation.
On that same megahertz level then?
Yes,
on that
exact same system actually.
Same system.
Mm-hmm.
But the upgrade was needed, not so much that the old system didn't work at all, but it just wasn't working efficiently?
Yeah, so the system upgrade was needed primarily because we're out of support. It's so old, it's 20 years old.
Right.
The manufacturer no longer supports it. Parts are no longer available. We've squirreled away some things, but we're starting to run out of those stockpile parts.
I got you.
And we just can't find parts anymore. We can't find people that even know how to work on it because it's so old.
Right. So now we got the new system. Now, how will the upgrade? How will this new system benefit residents? Because they hear us talking about things like 800, megahertz frequencies and things that are going to go right over my head. But I'm a citizen. I'm a taxpayer. I want to know, how is this going to benefit me?
Right. So the primary thing is to have new technology, current technology, that is more efficient, that is supported by the manufacturer, that we can stop spending so much money on the repair and upkeep of the old.
Right.
It's really been dollaring us quite a while
right.
now.
So more cost efficient.
Very much
now,
so.
what kind of equipment, give me an example of the kind of equipment that you've had to get for this upgrade?
So every portable radio, walkie-talkie, every mobile radio that's mounted in a vehicle like a fire truck or an ambulance, a police car, base station type radios that are in buildings, all the equipment at the tower sites, antennas, coax,
wow.
Everything will be replaced as part of this upgrade.
That's pretty important stuff too in terms of response time and helping people, isn't
Absolutely, yeah. And that's the name of the game in public safety, is to have an efficient system so that there's no delays when the call's made and we dispatch the units out.
Well, Wes, help me understand something. Now, are we talking present tense or future tense or whatever? Is the upgrade all done and it's a done deal, we're ready to go, or what?
It's in progress as we speak.
All right.
They're actually boots on the ground right now working at the tower sites, doing prep work, getting ready for the transition. The prep work and the transition itself will take 8 to 10 more months to complete. And we should be cut over to it sometime around the first quarter of 2024.
2024, okay. I guess before time runs out, I'm just wondering, how did you become interested in communications like this?
Well, I started out in the volunteer fire service a long time ago.
Okay.
And of course there's communications there, so it just kind of stuck, and I got involved in it through that, and I've been doing it ever since in some
And
form or
little did you
another.
know you'd end up heading up a unit that's really making things better for everybody.
Right. I worked in the 911 center for 20 years before I took this position, so I've got a lot of experience in it.
Well, I can tell, and I appreciate all you've done for serving the community over this time. Will you come back and give us an update later on how it's going?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Wes, thanks.
All right, thank you.
We'll be right back after this.
Emergencies happen. Every home needs an emergency kit. Are you ready? Start with a large suitcase. They're mobile. For safety and security, pack extra clothes, matches inside a waterproof container, a first aid kit and manual, flashlight and battery-powered radio and extra batteries. For nutrition, your kit should contain a 3-day supply of non-perishable food, kitchen utensils like a manual can opener. For hygiene, pack hand sanitizer, soap, bleach, and toilet paper. For financial matters, have these important documents: photocopies of identification, insurance policies, credit cards, cash and coins. For health, prescription medications, glasses and hearing aids. For your mental health, consider a simple board game. Your kit should match your family. It may be different if you have an infant, seniors, or pets. It may even vary from one season to the next. Update the kit whenever we roll the clocks forward in the spring and back in the fall. You can see other examples of what you may want in the kit at readyforsyth.org. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at readyforsyth.
Now on Forsyth County Connections, and we're always glad when this gentleman can take a few minutes of his time to stop by and be with us. He's been with us many times before and a great community servant. We're talking about Brent Motsinger. He's Forsyth County's Coordinator of Mobile Integrated Healthcare. He's also an EMS Battalion Chief Supervisor. Welcome back to the show, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
For folks that may not know, what this mobile integrated healthcare, what do we mean by that?
So mobile integrated healthcare is a group of community paramedics. These paramedics are well-versed and very experienced, and what they do now is kind of bridge the gaps that exist within our local healthcare system. These, through their experience, they can actually come in and recognize some pitfalls that people experience and kind of fill those gaps with resources that exist in the community, so that they can help people just have an overall better quality of life and better level of care and just a better experience in the healthcare system here in Forsyth County.
How does it work, though? I mean,
so right now we have myself and 7 other paramedics.
Okay.
We have some quick response vehicles. If you were to call 911, a lot of the patients that we interact with call 911 multiple times in a month, or it'd be an EMS crew or fire crew or police or just concerned citizen that come across that it comes to the awareness of a first responder, and they think, this person needs a little bit more. They need a little extra help.
yeah, if
So
it's a
how?
repetitive thing, now you can see a pattern.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
So how is it, since you've been doing this now, what kind of positive outcomes have you had for citizens who do use 911 more than others?
So we've been able to drastically reduce people's recidivistic use of 911. And a couple of examples is we had one individual, he was around in his late 30s. He was always diagnosed with some behavioral health issues, but we came to find out he actually had a developmental disability.
Okay.
In that 1 year, he called 911 346 times.
Gosh.
And so we were able to, in the following 6 months, after we worked with him for about 6 months, the following year, the first 6 months of the year, he called 4 times.
Man.
So he still calls our office every day and thanks us, and we talk to him, and he's great.
Well,
but-
that's a great success story and a great tribute to what you're doing. Let me ask though, on this mobile integrated healthcare, when you're a paramedic in that group that you're talking about, how is it different from being a paramedic on an ambulance on a regular call?
So most of these paramedics were at one point in time paramedics on the ambulance. So you almost had to get that experience and see that and get that firsthand patient care knowledge, and then you transition that into just really developing a passion for helping people, and you kind of want that, you have that desire to go, well, what else could be done? I want to do more. So then we bring them onto our team and we teach them about social work, social support, a lot of advanced level medical care that exists, a lot of community resources, and really just develop them into like a really multifaceted medical provider. So now they can take all that experience that they've seen out on the streets, transition that into doing everything from home health or hospice
Absolutely.
or everything to help these people get what they need.
And how long has this been up and running?
So we actually started the program in 2016. It was a pilot then. We got out of pilot status in 2018, and since then we've actually grown exponentially. We have one of the largest MIH or community paramedic programs in the state.
So we've talked about when it started. We've talked about some of the success you're having. So I guess the last question is, where do you want to see it go in the future?
So the future is really bright, believe it or not. And EMS itself as a profession is always struggling, and we're trying to fill vacancies as hard as we can. And the profession itself is at a crossroads where we need good, strong providers to come into the system, so that then one day you can get the experience that I want for a community paramedic and draw that over to myself and to our program. And I think one of the biggest things that we're looking forward to is we're doing some cool things as far as a pilot project where we're doing secondary triage in the 911 center, where we're actually taking an MIH paramedic and having them, when you call 911, maybe if it's not a life-threatening emergency, we give you a little bit of somebody else to talk to who's so experienced that they can steer you to the right resource without you ever having to interact with police, fire, or EMS. So you get the help you need with the phone call. So
you got almost like an ombudsman triage person.
Exactly.
That's just fantastic, Brent. I appreciate it. Will you keep me updated on this?
I will.
Well, thanks a lot, sir, for all you do.
Well, thank you for having me again. And
we'll be right back after this.
Every year, 4.5 million young adults between the ages of 18 and 24 visit the ER.
It's every parent's nightmare.
Umergency gives you all the tools you need to quickly and effectively manage your family's emergency. Umergency provides instant access to vital resources, customized to your student's campus and local community, digital consent form, and built-in urgent alert button. Umergency gives you peace of mind when you need it most. Download your Umergency app now.
Now, for Forsyth County Connections, let's talk about the animal shelter for a few minutes. And if we're going to do that, why not get somebody that knows all about it? And we did. And with me right now is Kirsten Briggs. She's director of Forsyth County Animal Shelter. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking time. I know things are busy out there. If you had to describe the mission of the animal services, how would you say it?
So technically, we have the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office handling the Animal Enforcement Division, and then they work with us, and we are the animal shelter. So between the two divisions, our main mission is to focus on public safety, and that's just to make sure we don't have any dangerous animals out there roaming the streets. And then, of course, we want to take care of the homeless, stray and injured animals, on an emergency basis as well.
How do those animals typically, mainly cats and dogs, but others, how do they typically come to the shelter?
So, Animal Services, the Sheriff's Office Division will bring them in as strays. We have owner surrenders and
people that can't take care of them.
People that can't take care of them. In this economy, it's really hard. Veterinary care, food, and just, a lot of people are getting evicted. We do hope that if people have some time and they know they're getting evicted, that they make some plans ahead of time and not wait till the last minute, because we necessarily won't have room, and we're only legally allowed to hold a
What
certain
a tragic
number of animals.
situation all the way around, tragic all the way around when that happens. And now what happens to animals after they arrive at the shelter typically?
So they're gone through an intake protocol, and we give them vaccinations, check them out, weigh them, and then they're put in our holding areas, and then they're evaluated for behavior over the next week or so. Stray hold is 72 hours, and after that we can put them up for adoption. Hopefully the owner reclaims them, or we can transfer them out to a rescue. Especially
in a situation where somebody's had a lost dog, and then that gives them a chance to try to come and claim them. Now, you talking about adoption? Can people come directly to the shelter and ask about adopting, or should they go online, or should they call, or make an appointment, or what happens? Yeah,
so ideally for adoptions, we'll be open soon. And they can come during our open hours and adopt an animal. We have an application online on our website. All the animals available for adoption, as well as our stray animals, are featured on our website, and we are trying to post them on our Facebook page as well.
Now, what's the typical cost to adopt a cat or a dog at the shelter?
So for a fully vetted animal, and that's spayed and neutered, and they're up to date on their vaccines, it could range anywhere from $100 to $200.
Okay. Now, and when you say application, I don't want to belabor this point, but I guess you guys sort of have a sense of who's filling out that application too, and you want to make sure that they're going to take care of the animal, right?
Well, we know the animals really well, so we're trying to make the best match possible for the animal so that it's a long-term permanent home for the animal.
Right.
And it matches the energy and activity level, as you know, just matches the people who are looking to adopt the animal.
Absolutely. Do you ever need volunteers, Kirsten?
We do all the time. So volunteers are great. They're a vital part of running an animal shelter, and we hope to start the program by the end of April.
And what will somebody do when they say, I want to volunteer? What will you tell them they can do, or what will you ask them to do as volunteers?
Well, there's always something to do at the animal shelter. So they can do laundry, they can help with enrichment, they can help with office work. It just depends what their skill set is. We have a lot of people that are skilled at photography, so maybe they want to take photographs of the animals and feature those adoptable animals.
Where is just so in case somebody just moved into the area, where is the shelter located and what hours do you operate?
Sure, so we're located at 5570 Sturmer Park Circle in Winston-Salem, really easy to get to. And our hours of operation, basically we're closed Sundays and Mondays, but we're open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Okay.
And we do close down from 1 to 2, and that's not just for our staff to have lunch, but we also, it's really good for the animals just to have a nice quiet hour.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's not
That's
chaotic
good for
and
me
nobody
too
will
at my
come in.
age.
There
I want
you
a nice
go,
quiet
right?
hour in the middle of the day. So is there a website people can go to or should go to?
That's being worked on right now, but that'll be up shortly.
Okay. Quick, we got like 2 seconds left.
Yeah.
Name of your first pet ever.
That would be Charlie.
Charlie. Okay. We found out something personal about you. Thanks, Ms. Briggs. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. We'll be right back after this.
Don't procrastinate. Vaccinate. School immunizations are available right now at Forsyth County Department of Public Health. Make sure your child is prepared for next school year by getting their immunizations now. Immunizations are available at no charge for Medicaid and uninsured patients. Call 336-703-3324 to schedule an appointment. For more information, visit forsyth.cc/public health. Forsyth County Department of Public Health. Promoting health. Improving lives.
Our final segment of this edition of Forsyth County Connections. So glad you stayed with us. We have a returning guest. He's always welcome here. He's been on here a few times before to keep us up to speed on what's going on with parks and recreation, all sorts of things. Chris Weavel is Director of Parks and Recreation for the county. Good to see you again.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Let's talk about Belews Lake for just a second. When did the idea for a park at Belews Lake come about?
The idea for a park came about back in 2006. It was identified in the Winston-Salem Forsyth County Open Space Plan. It was again recommended in the 2019 update of that plan, and it was looking for a park in the Belews Lake community because that was identified as an underserved area for park access in Forsyth County.
Right. Now, how did the purchase and development of the park evolve? What's sort of the history of that?
Well, the purchase evolved basically kind of going back to the open space plan. It identified, possibly working with Duke Energy to find a parcel of land along Belews Lake. And as luck would have it, the largest landowner around Belews Lake was Duke Energy. So we were able to work with them to find a suitable tract there in Forsyth County.
How many acres are we talking about?
We're looking at 216 acres.
Good gosh.
Yep. 10,000 linear feet of lakefront property
right.
that we've got. So that's
so now are people they'll be living around the park area where people will come and do recreate and all that stuff?
Correct. The eastern border of the park is basically the lake. The western border is Craig Road. There is a development to the north and just some individual properties to the south. So it's a large parcel and not a lot of development around it.
Just not to get too specific and get into the weeds on this, but just so people get a perspective. I mean, when it's finished, how will people access it to get in there?
To access the park, you'll access it off of Highway 65,
okay.
And you'll turn onto Craig Road. Craig Road is actually the road that will lead you to the steam station that Duke Energy runs there on the lake.
Yeah.
But it'll be off of Craig Road. As you enter, it'll be on your right-hand side of Craig Road.
Now, where are we right now? We're taping this, just as a disclaimer, on Thursday, April the 13th. So, having said that, where are we in the status of the development stage?
We are moving forward. We are under construction. They're actually building now. I was actually up there Tuesday. We've done all the clearing. The clearing started back in about February. The site was planted all in pines, by Duke. It was, kind of set up for pines. So we've kind of got the layout of the park for phase one. It's all kind of cut out, and they're actually working right behind the loggers. They're doing the rough grading, the site work, all the utilities, all that's going in.
When's it supposed to be finished?
At the rate we're going, if weather holds out, I'm not going to give a specific date, but we're hoping to be open sometime in the early second quarter of 2024.
2024, that's pretty cool. Now, before time runs out on us, tell me what some of the things we're going to see when the park's finished and we ride out there and take our families. What kind of things will be out there?
Well, in phase one, we're doing a lot of work just to get the site open. It had no utilities, anything like that, so we've got to install water, power, the roadway. But we'll have a paved road, roughly a mile of paved road. I know I've walked it. We'll have a picnic shelter, a restroom facility, a lot of several thousand feet of natural surface trails, and we're working our access to the water. We'll have a handicap accessible fishing dock with handicap accessible walkway all the way down to it.
This is going to be great. It's going to be great. I appreciate all you're doing with that. Have you got any favorite parts of what's going to come with some of the amenities, things that you're personally looking forward to, you think are pretty neat?
I think just the access to the water is going to be neat. There's a lot of different terrain of going through the park. It's about a 100-foot elevation drop from the entrance of the park to the water. Again, I walked it, so it's 100 foot going back up. It's great. It is planted in pines, but there are several woodland buffers along any of the streams and creeks. So you've got a lot of different terrain. You got a lot of different natural habitats. Lots of different.
Can folks go out and fish?
You can fish. You'll be able to fish, from the banks, following state regulations, state laws. But other than that, it'll be great.
I just think this is great. Thanks for all you're doing. I want you to keep us updated on this, Chris, will you?
Can do.
All right.
No problem.
Well, that's it for this edition of Forsyth County Connections, but I want to thank some folks. Of course, being hosted by the good folks here at Cable 2, here at the Winston-Salem Forsyth County School System, and T.J. James and Kevin Wren and Chris Ronge take care of us over here. Jeff Fabrizio, of course, looking out for us on the post-production, and our executive producers, Ed McNeil and Dudley Watts. And thank you for watching. Up on the screen back there, by the way, we've been watching this right behind us the whole time, connectwith.forsythcountync.gov. Check that out. Lots of things there, and on YouTube where you can watch some of the older episodes. For all of us here, I'm Jim Longworth. We'll see you next time.